Hi, Clarissa.
We are the Clarissas, and we're bringing you something magical today. We're going to be talking about what we're doing. We're doing an amazing collaborative effort. We want to share it with you. So stick around. You're going to get some amazing insights, some depth, some knowledge. Okay, so let's set the intention.
Yes, girl. Okay, so the intention, guys, of this masterclass, this training, this webinar is to basically bring your awareness, and hopefully this will resonate with you, to the point where you are resonating with the idea of transformation and shifts through astrology, the roadmap to our lives. Okay, we're going to talk a bit more about how we personally experience this, but this is the intention, guys. We brought this together because we want you to experience what we have experienced through the ultra life-changing culmination, the match of astrology and personal development life coaching. It has been transformative for us, and we came together and we realized that the universe has put us together to be able to share this in one dynamic package, which we will tell you about later.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I can definitely tell you that I've experienced Clarissa's services, and it's changed my perception, the way I respond to things. So we're going to delve into that. And I just think, first of all, I want to say we've been brought together. I feel like we've been divinely brought together, and we're both called Clarissa.
Amen.
I just can't.
Amen.
If you have someone with your name, go make friends with them.
Exactly. Search them out on your socials. Yeah, it's just amazing that we've been brought together in this way, but also the synergy of us, of the two of us, you know, and not like blowing our own trumpets or anything like that, but the synergy of what the healing and the light work that we have been doing, the synergy of being able to bring that together, which we did for ourselves before we realized that our job was then to share it with others and to bring this to others, was absolutely amazing on so many levels.
Love it.
You're really going to love this. This is going to be a no-brainer for you. If you listen to this whole thing, this is going to be a no-brainer for you.
So let's get into it.
Let's get into it, girl. We got questions and everything.
So firstly, I would like you to share what is the hypnosis that you do? What is it called and what does it do?
Okay, so hypnotherapy really is the sister to meditation. So whereas in meditation, you're encouraged to clear your mind and find that silence, okay, and observe any thoughts and feelings that come up and allow them to pass through you in meditation. Hypnotherapy is using the power of the mind in a meditative state, in a hypnotic trance, to be able to make suggestions to the subconscious mind, which we use 95% of the time, that houses all our permanent memories. That is memories from the time we were born. And if anyone doubts this, I always give the example of remembering when you were a child, your first ice cream or ice lolly. Do you remember that? Was it an ice cream? Was it an ice lolly? Can you remember the taste of it? Was it a really hot day? What flavor was it? Now, your subconscious mind right at this moment is reaching right back into your permanent memory to bring that thought to you, to the point where your mouth will start to water, literally, okay? So that is what I mean by permanent memory. Your subconscious mind stores all permanent memory, all trauma, all great memories, not so great memories. So through the subconscious mind, we can make suggestions to heal or to harness what is already stored in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about astrology.
Astrology is a psycho-spiritual way of analyzing who we are as people. So it doesn't just explore who we are on the surface, who we are in society, but it takes us into our subconscious, it takes us into our past, it takes us into ancestral understanding, ancestral knowledge. It helps us to define who we are. And through that, we can understand how we can sort out problems and look at our intention, what is our purpose, what is our vocation, how relationships are, all kinds of aspects of who we are.
Yeah. And I can tell you at this point that when I had my natal chart reading with Clarissa, one of the first times we met and we realized that we did things We did our light work was things that we ourselves wanted to learn about. And I had my natal chart reading, and it was life changing to the point that I changed my whole business model literally days afterwards. I was writing, a program was about to launch. I completely cut the program. I cancelled that program because what I had learned was it was so obvious to me at 47 years old. It told me the roadmap to my whole life up until that point. It showed me things that I had been struggling with and things that I didn't even know that I had been struggling with. Everything suddenly made sense. Everything clicked into place. Whereas before, I had never really been interested in astrology. I had never really known the power, the transformational power of astrology. Meeting Clarissa was one of those life-changing moments that, I mean, I've only really experienced, I'd say maybe a handful of times, one of those being maybe the birth of my child. Okay, so that's how transformative it was. I'm so passionate about this. We really want you guys to be able to, through what we talk about today, just be open to the prospect that your life can simply be changed within a couple of hours of working with us, and we're going to show you how. Okay. So,
I mean, thank you so much, Clarissa. That was what you said. My heart. Oh my God. And I felt the same way before I studied astrology. I saw the mundane astrology. I connected with it, but I didn't really understand it too well.
Right?
There was a point where I was trying to I was asking existential questions about life, and I felt like the answers that were here weren't enough. They didn't satisfy the deepness that I wanted to explore. So I just started studying like history, societal history. Where does our values come from? What is the foundation that we sit on? And it just led back to ancient civilizations, because civilizations they're recycled. So when you look at ancient civilizations, what they studied was the nature around them. They were able to explore what was above. Astronomy and astrology, they were together once, and we separated it. So to me, that's where I saw the knowledge of who we are, and I just wanted to be a part of that knowledge. Astrology does that, especially on a psychological level. You get to really understand why you're going through certain periods, why you're even resonating with certain things, why people are coming into your life, why you're having the same type of pattern, same type of relationship. It really gets you to understand on an emotional level what it's all about.
Yeah, in minute detail as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you want to go through a bit about what your services include in general, Clarissa?
Yeah, so I offer psychological astrology birth chart readings. So this means that I would have a look at your birth chart. So from your time of birth, place of birth, and dates of birth, and we can get a really good insight into who you are. And essentially that just provides a snapshot of the time you were born and what was going on celestially in the sky. So that in correlation to us shows that we are a representation, as above is below, that type of thought process, and this is where it comes from. So how the relationship of the planets in the sky, that will have an imprint onto us. It will show us certain things about our character, certain things about our personality, certain things about the things that we attract into life, and our vocation, what things that we are accessible. So before I had my birth chart done myself, I didn't really know the direction I wanted to go into. I wasn't really sure, just floating by.
They know, they don't know.
No, you just don't know. And then when I had my birth chart done, it really opened doors, spiritually, psychologically, emotionally, opened doors. Like, wow, you kind of, some things about yourself, like, oh yeah, I know I'm capable of that. But to see in that way, it opens another door, like, okay, it adds another level of power to the things that you're capable of. I will reach for you. Things don't seem like they're so far above, the glass ceiling. They feel like, oh no, that's in my capability. I can do that. So it just gives you the force and the will.
It was meant for you. Just not to cut you there, but it just after I had the natal chart, I was saying to Clarissa privately, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep that night because, like I said, so many things started to click into place. But at my age and what the natal chart revealed, and then what it revealed was needed in order for me to obtain like my own personal nirvana, my ultimate life. Okay, I couldn't then doubt it because it had told me my 47 years of my life. I realized that the moment that I came into being, into this reality, the time and the place, which you can find out easily, and I'm sure Clarissa will talk to you about that more, a roadmap was created. It was literally written in the stars. And then the universe sent people like Clarissa who could read it. Mm-hmm. It was as simple as that. And that concept blew my mind, so much so that I literally couldn't sleep. The fact that I knew the truth that from the moment you are born, nothing is coincidence, therefore. Right, guys? Yeah. Nothing coincidence.
And it just offers us an alternative. There are so many ways that we we can get questions about who we are, and right. From all different directions. There's all different types of beliefs. This is one, and this is one that, for me, in my experience and in Clarissa's experience, it's created. Yeah, it's work. It's created such a door opening into who we are, and this is why we want to share it and combine it with what we both do, and as to offer as a solution.
So what happens in detail when somebody has their natal chart read? So you've talked a bit about what you can expect from it, but what happens I know that I chose to have a video call that was recorded, but when you choose to have your natal chart done, what actually happens? What do you talk about?
So first have a consultation with somebody to find out where they are at the present moment, what's going on in their life, what are they looking for. We have to know what they're looking for in their chart. So when they choose the type of chart that they want to have, because you can have a vocational, you can have a general that speaks about everything, you can have a relationship chart, so your relationship with another person, or even and find out what's going on in relationships with children, all kinds of things. So we in the consultation we'll discuss what that person would like, and then they'd give me their details, and then I would go away and research into who they are, and I'd give them a detailed breakdown. So when they book their full session, they'd have a detailed breakdown into everything. And some things will shock them. Some things will be obvious. Some things will. Sometimes the birth chart, when you have your birth chart reading done, you realize that most of your life, and I'm sure you've experienced it, I experienced the same, you feel like you've been focusing your life in one direction, one state of emotions, and then you realize your chart is asking you to have another direction. So you're like, wait a minute, I've been here, I've been in this emotion for so long, and really my chart is telling me that the capability of exploring other emotions is possible. It's not even a question, you can do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need that tool, and that's what the birth chart is, a tool into who we are.
Do you find that when you do this with your clients, that they have like amazing aha moments right there in the session? Because I know I did. When you told me that my birth chart was full of like water, which was spirituality, that was something I had been fighting pretty much my whole life until the age of 40, where I was trying to accept this perception that was a bit too wishy-washy, you could make money out of that, and that I didn't really want to delve into that. And what Clarissa showed me with the natal chart is it was my divine purpose. The thing about it was I knew that because I'd already been kind of fighting in the background. Do you find that happens with other clients?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. You can literally see the resonance in their eyes and the light bulb.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And then they tell you, they connect with what you're saying, and they go through their experiences. Definitely, I was the same, kicking and screaming. Kicking and screaming into this version of spirituality. I was not trying to. It wasn't something I thought was just something I connect with. Yeah. But again, like situations happen in my life, dips, got ups and downs, and I was looking for answers, and I was looking for ways to find solutions right now. Yeah. And that's what astrology did for me.
It's literally a gentle guiding back to the path. that we kind of we knew we should have been on. Like it subconsciously, it's like bringing all that into the conscious and basically just giving you another path, presenting a path to you. You can choose whether or not to. It's not forced, you know, nothing is forced in terms of the universe or in terms of hate or anything like that, but your path will be shown to you. There's no accident, for example, that you are watching this right now, because the universe.
This is not something new.
Exactly.
This is something ancient.
Yes.
This is, cultures have been using this for since ancient times. So this is just something that is just, again, just been reintroduced into awareness.
Yes.
And being used as a collaborative effort.
Yes.
So Clarissa,
yes.
You know, I enjoy talking about myself.
Ask me.
Let's get into what you do.
Okay.
Hypnotherapy coaching. So how broad does that go? What do you explore with your clients?
Okay, so I started off quite broad in terms of, I would say that before I started with the hypnotherapy, my coaching was very much about just based on personal development. So that was it wasn't very niche. It was a very wide spectrum of clients, geared more towards, as a coach does, rather than a therapist. Instead of trying to fix you, it's like coaching was like, and now what? Let's make a strategic plan. Let's make a plan of action of how we're going to get to this place, your ultimate future. And let's delve into some of the reasons why, some of those deeper reasons why you haven't got there yet. Let's try and break down some of the hidden depths, some of that shadow work where healing happens, whether you've been through trauma or not, where healing happens, where the belief systems that you have in place about what you can and cannot do in this lifetime are broken down based on what you want to accomplish. And it can start, and that starts first with, I always ask people in the first session, what do you want? Not what does society say you want. What do you want? What would you like to accomplish? What would you have to happen? And a lot of times clients have to go away and think about that because they've never really been asked that question before, and they've never asked themselves that question. So coaching is a way of bringing all that into the forefront to develop your life to your ultimate future. Hypnotherapy was something that I brought on board because I started to become addicted to the metaphysics, to quantum physics, and to the study of the mind. And it just seemed like the perfect addition to my skill set, because not only saying to clients that, you know, for example, if they had the lack of motivation, or if they're procrastinators, or if they had really limiting beliefs about what they felt that they could accomplish, what they felt they could be, do, have, and experience in this lifetime, hypnotherapy was a way of going into the subconscious mind and reprogramming that, and suggesting something completely different. For example, if you felt that you were not a great public speaker, you're not somebody who would get up and do a presentation, and that had stopped you from going for any kind of promotion at work because you knew that you'd probably have to present, okay, then hypnotherapy became a way for me to bridge that gap into suggesting to the subconscious mind that you were a great public speaker, and the belief that you weren't a good public speaker and couldn't present was actually false, and that belief could be gotten rid of straight away. Okay, so it was the synergy of those two things really, that just made my craft and made my work as a light worker so much more profound for my clients. And so then after my natal chart reading, I decided to really niche down into trauma. So helping people who have very severe limiting beliefs or who have gone through trauma in their lives to access that ultimate future that every single one of us really wants. Let's not get it, let's get it straight. We all want that nirvana. We all want that dream life. The thing is that a lot of us feel that we cannot get it, or a lot of us are limited by the belief that it requires us to be intelligent or to be rich or to be popular. And actually all those things are a lie. So specializing in trauma has helped me to really shift and transform people's lives in a way that feels just so magnificent to me and to them. It's been amazing. It's been amazing, and again, something that I ran from until I had my natal chart reading.
Yeah, we did discuss that in length, and
yeah, I don't wanna.
Yeah, it was a mind-blowing experience, definitely. So you can see how what Clarissa offers is the insight into trauma and how to process it, deal with it, process it, and find a way to move forward through it. Whereas with psychological astrology, it tells you why. It tells you why there is this element of trauma in your life and where it's come from, because some things we don't even realize that are carried with us generationally. You know, we watch what our parents, even just watching our parents, to things that were even before we were born. There were cultural experiences, culture, what culture tells us, boxes us to be. Even before then, it's just sometimes there is reasons why we have to do the things we do. The reasons why even like a culture is the way it is. The reason why a person is the way it is, a family is the way it is. So astrology gives an insight into those things, a greater understanding, which you can then use. Okay, this is my foundation. This is where things have come from. How do I now change my mindset about this? How do I now be guided into creating something else?
Thank you. And I just feel that between both of us, especially with this program that we're going to offer, it will up-level people's perception of what is possible for them based on what was written for them and what can be achieved if you work on it. So that saying, go within or go without, really comes into play here, because by going within, we've been able to thrive and access those levels of ascension, of success in business, of success in our love lives, in our personal lives. So we went within rather than go without, which was to go without that accessing those levels of thrive or of success or of joy or of peace or of calm. Okay, so this is what we're really trying to focus on today. This is part of our intention, is to show you that with going within, you don't have to go without.
And going within isn't scary
at all.
We are literally a reflection of the environment around us. And so sometimes even just understanding that sometimes you can see more with your eyes closed. You can see within so much more.
Oh, I love that. I'm stealing that for my socials.
So I just wanted to talk about, because you've said what you do, but I want to talk about the experience, because I've actually had your hypnotherapy audio session, and we've done two. One was on ancestral healing and the other one was on love healing.
Love.
So I'll just quickly briefly talk about the love one, because this is not a topic for now. The love one is because I've been single for so long, and I want to just be able to move into something beautiful, something that's for me now, reflects who I am now. And I feel like that was, Clarissa could help me with that. So she just was able to get me to feel the way I wanted to feel. I hadn't thought about it. It was something I wanted, but it wasn't something I felt or thought about emotionally. So with a hypnotherapy was helped me to dive into that emotion, connect with that emotion. I can tell you I was like thrilled when I heard certain things in the hypnotherapy. I was like, wow, I literally have not felt that. Or I revisit it.
Yeah, exactly.
The ancestral one, the ancestral healing, this was for me a little bit more of a darker space, because it was something that you can't even help. I was born into this
the DNA imprint.
Yeah, I can't even help. So it's something that weighed much more heavier, because it's like you want to get past emotions that you can't do anything about to change physically. So it's not that you want to change things physically, but what comes with our physicalities and how they're valued in society, it creates that burden. So I wanted to just be able to have a release from that, because I studied the history, I've done it, I love my culture, but with it comes this level of unconscious burden. Or it is conscious burden as well, because it's acting out in society. But in terms of how we have to deal with it on a day-to-day basis from the moment we open our eyes, from the moment when we go out into the road and go down, walk down the street, you know, just things like that. And you just want to be able to do things without that switch always there.
Right.
You know, or creating positive associations to it. You know,
exactly.
So the ancestral healing, oh my goodness, it was amazing. Now I just have this so much more understanding about our connection to culture and heritage and ancestral just energy in general, because you know, it's almost a sense I've released them.
Right.
I realized it was less about me.
Yeah.
It was that I was carrying what I felt they had experienced. So I had to find a way to release them, to say that my walk here is enough.
Right.
You know, like
now,
my walk here represents their strength.
Yes.
And I'm here. Yeah, so
exactly.
That simplicity was just like enough. Like, okay, you know, just be here to guide me. Yeah, so. And that's what Clarissa's hypnosis did for me. That I listened to it again because it's it just touches me. When I heard certain things, my heart was like, oh, you know, and you just think it's thousands of ancestors. You just think, oof, you know.
Yeah. And your subconscious knows it, your body knows it, it's in your magnetic field. We all have a magnetic field, otherwise when you put your finger in a socket, you wouldn't be electrocuted. We are all energy. So when you start to activate the magnetic field with things like that are actually stored in the body, in the DNA, you start to have amazing insights, you start to have amazing shifts. Things like old aches and pains even start to go, because all that stuff is stored. And like we say, it's not just Black and brown people that have ancestral and generational trauma to heal. If your culture has ever been in a war, or, you know, ever experienced any kind of prejudice, then you've got some ancestral healing to do. And that is many cultures around the world who don't realize that there is ancestral healing to do in order for you to release those and also to harness the strengths of your ancestors, not just to release any negative imprinting, but to harness the strength, the resilience, the motivation that they had, you know, also. So it's very important.
Yeah, definitely, because there was a time where when I was researching back, you get, especially like Black culture, you can get stuck in the way it feels. Right. And you can't able to then, you can't move forward because you're stuck in that emotion that projects out everything. Then when you start going further back, you realize, you know, the wealth of knowledge, you realize the sacredness of everything. It releases you, but then it also helps you to see that it's not just one culture. That is experienced, like you said, it's not just, it literally the whole planet. It's almost like our definition of culture has to have this interplay with each other, so we can sort certain things out, so we can explore certain emotions, but also release from certain emotions, and maybe evolve to a next place where we can get on. We're getting on.
Oh, I just love this so much.
Actually,
I'm so passionate about this. It's amazing. I had one question though for you, Clarissa. So people watching this and thinking, yeah, I really want to do this. I know that there was, not me so much, because I've always been fascinated with astrology in general, but this was a next level. Let's face it, this is like next level. So what would you say to people that think really it's starting to resonate with them, but they're kind of scared? I've met lots of clients that I've told about my experience with natal chart, and they were into it, but kind of scared of what it might reveal. Like, you know, like they were going to get sick, or their children were going to get sick, or and you know, I always said that I would ask you about that, like in a place that we can share this, because it's not like that at all, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, no one's trying to.
Scared.
Yeah, no one's trying to run somebody out of their own skin. That at all, you know, it's to embrace who you are rather than fear who you are. There is no intention to have somebody be fearful of their own life and the things that, you know, are available to them. Not at all. It's an insight into who you are. I would just say have a consultation, you know, and speak just as two normal people. and then decide what you want to do after that. I mean, obviously the birth chart does explore all kinds. It's neutral. You know, the birth chart is neutral. It doesn't say, oh, this or this. It just tells you on a neutral basis who you are and what's available for you, where you've come from. So just exploring that. You know, I definitely don't say anything negative in terms of, you know, what a person health-wise and things like that. The birth chart does they can show you health issues, but only if that person is wanting to bring them up. If that's something they want to discuss, we can delve into it.
And also what I would say is that especially for me, I learned that you know, my interactions and my connections with other women had been challenged by trauma that I had suffered. And so Clarissa in my natal chart reading was like, you know, it could go this way if you don't heal those wounds, you know, in order for you to feel better about this and to overcome this connection and to actually be able to connect with women in a wholehearted, loving way. It would be great if you focused on this. This is what the chart is saying. So it's not a doom and gloom situation. It would, you know, for me, you know, any health concerns that you may have, like you said, Rick, you could talk about them. But an astrology chart, a natal chart, isn't something that says, oh, right, okay, on the 5th of February, you know, that's it, curtains. It's not that kind of thing. No. And so I'd say to anyone that was feeling nervous about that because they were thinking that some things might come up for them that I didn't want to hear, to really suspend that fear, because none of that is true.
I would never claim to be a medical practitioner.
Right.
No. The only thing that I would say that it really does is tap into who you are on an emotional basis, a spiritual basis, and that is the whole point. Like I said, energy is we contain it, so we can either go this way or we can go this way. It's how we choose to direct it, and the birth chart helps us to create some focus, some direction on that energy.
Clarity. Yeah, exactly. Perfect. So
okay, so I've got a question. Sorry.
Okay.
Your why. So it talks about what you do.
Yes.
And your solution for others.
Okay.
Why did you get into hypnotherapy?
So I got into hypnotherapy and coaching first of all, and then hypnotherapy. Let's talk more about the coaching, because the coaching happened through me being guided to be able to show up in a way and to become the light worker that I was meant to be. This is my belief system, okay? And the reason for that is because I'm very open about the fact that I suffered trauma as a child, abuse as a child, on various levels. So that's what happens if you've suffered any kind of trauma or any kind of large negative event, which is what the trauma is. It doesn't have to be abuse. Any kind of large negative event that you may have suffered, you can tend to become the rescuer. So if you've got a rescuer personality, you then always have the need to rescue others, because you yourself needed to be rescued, or there was somebody that you wanted to rescue that you couldn't. So that rescue vibration was always in me. And so I was led to life coaching really through a series of what I can only call spiritual synchronicities that led me to a page that was talking about life coaching, and I wanted to hear more about this. During learning how to become a life coach, some intense healing happened with myself. And I was saying to Clarissa, I was sobbing in libraries all over like the area that I live, because I realized it was me. It was me with the limiting beliefs. It was me with the shadow work still to be done. It was me that had a limited perception of what I could be, do, and experience in life. It was me with the fear around how I showed up and about being my authentic self and what that meant for me. So that's what led me to the life coaching journey, really, was to help and to not to rescue, but to help others that had gone through the same thing. I knew that I could help them because I was coming from a place of knowing, but also from a place of extreme loving empathy and compassion. So that was the why for coaching. And then the hypnotherapy, as I mentioned, was really like a great fit, because I suddenly became so interested in quantum physics and metaphysics and the study of the mind. And I wanted to be able to offer that much more to my clients, not just to say, okay, well, let's talk about your motivation, and what you should do is do this journal and do this. What I wanted to do was say, let's go to the source of that belief that is causing you the lack of motivation, and let's heal that. Let's reprogram that. And so that's why I did that.
I love that.
Wow, yeah. And for you?
For astrology, it was something that I kind of always had. My grandmother was always talking about people through the filter of their star sign. Oh, this Virgo lady, she's you know, so that was always there. So I always kind of looked at astrology from a mundane level. But then I just had some really hard breakdowns in my life, like stripped me down to everything. And the only thing I had left was trying to find what emotion I should be in. And so I'm very kind of society minded as well. So I was looking at culture, looking at history. So I was looking at answers through that filter. When I realized there's more, I started to become more spiritual. I wanted to connect with the energies that I felt. So I started going into I suppose it's esotericism. I started into
down the rabbit hole. Yeah, that's it. Right down it.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Again, like you said, kicking and screaming because I don't want to be, you just don't want to be ostracized for things that that are just not conventional. But it just kept pulling me, and it kept asking questions. It kept making me feel good. So it then got to astrology, and I was like, wow, just this thing opened. It was this magnitude of knowledge. I realized that ancient civilizations had a depth of knowledge, and I really wanted to be a part of it. So I had to study it, and that's where it came from. Because it altered so many things for me. Essentially a change in the way I view things, the way I feel about things. Some things that bothered me before, honestly, not at all, because it's almost like certain things are a distraction. They take the energy from you, when that energy can be used to focus on something, within a power, within a will within you.
Yeah. Oh, really good. That's really good answer. Really good. You touched on something that I wanted to ask you as well, which is that, it's both of us, but your thoughts on it, which is that when you do this work, so when you work with us, you're going to find, because we've found it, and so it's one of those things that you need to be prepared for, is that not everyone's going to understand it. So again, I see somebody watching this webinar and thinking, I'm really into it, but I just, I couldn't tell my family about it. We've been there, haven't we, Carissa? We've been there.
100%. There's probably people still now that think, what is this? What is this? What is she talking about? They wouldn't even, but if they don't know, now they know. I've got to that point. I've got to that point where I don't really think about the thoughts of others, because that it creates entrapment. It creates that burden, and it's almost like it's that. Insight is part of culture, it's part of the way people look at you. They feel like they've got to look at you in this way. So it projects onto you, and you feel like, oh, I don't want people to look at me in this way. But then you're sacrificing how you actually feel. And I had to put that above, what society thinks I should be. I'm sure I could sit here and tick so many boxes about society, black woman, single mother, all kinds of things, all those boxes. Totally. But what it really comes down to is how I feel. I can have all these labels, and I can have all these views on how I feel, on how I'm supposed to be, but I actually just want to enjoy being me. And I just happen to connect with those boxes as well. Okay. Exactly. It's all just a filter of how we try to understand each other.
That's true. It's all perception. Yeah. And what I wanted to say about that is that, number one, when we do this light work and we shine that light on certain topics of spirituality, people follow, and that is our job. That is our job, no matter what. So even you are a light worker. The person listening to this webinar now, you are a light worker, which is why you're watching this. We are all light workers, whether we're the lollipop man, whether we're the ambulance guy, we are all light workers, shining our light in different ways. We just may be good talkers or a good ear to listen to. That is light work, my friends, okay? Now, when you suppress the light, when you suppress, I'm not gonna go so spiritual, I'm gonna go more. When you suppress what is really you, the essence of yourself, whatever that may be, because of how you've ascended or what you've learned, that I'm here to tell you right now, which is really important, is that becomes a trauma. It is trauma.
Yeah.
That you'll have to maybe come to someone like me later on to heal. Suppressing yourself in that way is very, very it causes a lot of damage, emotionally and sometimes even physically, you know. So that's one thing I would say about that. You know, people will either follow you or they will fall away, and that's as it's meant to be, as you come more into your authentic self. Another thing I want to say, the last thing I want to leave people with, is the fact that sometimes you let go of things in order to get better. It gets so much better if you can allow yourself, there may be like uncomfortable moments where you think, God, I really love that person and they don't seem to get me anymore. That's okay. That person might raise their vibration or come around later on as you just continue to shine your authentic self. But it gets so much better because now you're attracting another tribe. Like I attracted Clarissa, somebody that I was not in the vibration of before. We would have never met before. Even though I've been on Facebook for 19 years, I never met Clarissa. But our vibrations aligned because we had moved from a vibration where some of our much loved friends and family were resonating also. We moved past that and started to attract a different type of people, which is lovingly done for you by the universe, God, source energy, whatever you feel comfortable calling that energy, is lovingly done for you because it's where you're meant to be going. So if you can, you know, feel into that uncomfortableness for a while, it doesn't last long and it gets so much better.
Yeah, that is so true. I can definitely testify to that because it's funny because going into spirituality is something that's, you know, could make people look like, oh, I'm not sure, even ostracize you. It's something that helped me to expand past my own limiting beliefs, you know, expanding and connecting with so much more people that I would have never connected before, never had the opportunity to connect with.
Right.
My belief system, you would have thought we sit together well.
Right.
But no, it's helped me to understand that, you know, we're just all vessels. We're all just vessels of energy that want to connect with each other. We're trying to find ways to connect.
The connection, yeah.
We're just really just trying to. It's almost like we're fighting to try and find ways to connect. So once we strip away some of our belief systems and limiting beliefs about people who, or even ourselves, you know, most of the time it's a projection of ourselves, and connect with others. I love it. Some of my friends now, like including you, beautiful.
Right? It's so cool. Just so cool. We could talk forever about this, couldn't we? Really? I really hope that those of you watching this have really started to connect with what it is that we offer and what you're going to be able to get out of it, and the fact that we are people that would never ask someone to go through or we haven't already been through. We have been through this. We came out the other side just so much more. Yeah. And that's what we want to offer to others. Yeah.
So it's been amazing. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
Well, there's probably loads. I could go on for an hour, but I won't. You? Anything you want to add?
I'm just grateful to have this opportunity to collaborate with you. I just think
same.
Honestly, I just love it. What you do and what you've done for me is amazing, and I just think I just love that we're just using this platform and using this time to just share what we do with others, and I hope it connects with people.
Yes.
Yeah, and it helps people to see another light to us and what we do. And I'm looking forward to what happens.
Yes, exactly. And if you have any questions that we haven't answered in this webinar, in this masterclass, then do reach out to us on our social channels. I'm Clarissa Renee Coaches, and Clarissa is
Clarissa Kathleen Explains It All, or Clarissa K Explains It All.
Yeah.
We'll put the links in the description, so you'll just be able to just click through straight away. Any feedback is also really, really good, just in case you want to do a part 2. And
girl, that's why I love you.
And we'll also put a link into how you can reach these services, how you can be a part of it, and let's explore together.
Exactly. It's a wonderful package. I encourage you to basically don't wait, don't let your mind dictate to you that it's not what you need when you know that it's what you need. And if you have any questions, at least reach out and we can answer those for you. And it's really our intention that this reaches those that it's meant to reach. It can be no other way. We believe that. So thank you for being with us. So thank you.
Well, we'll see you again next time, and in the meantime, take care.
Take care. Bye.